right, so in 2014, I arrived in Cape Town to work in the renewable energy sector. I think I came with fancy and these good ideas around what transformative capital could look like, right? And when you're thinking renewable energy, you're thinking future forward technology, sustainability, all integrated into one, and really had rose-tinted eyes in terms of my expectations on what the potential of the industry could deliver. And through my years working in this industry, I met my business partner, Metuli, and when we met when we were having really robust conversations around how to localize the renewable energy sector in South Africa and maximize the opportunities for development for South Africans, but also for the local communities. So we were interacting in various platforms. It was whether it was skills development, it was local content. We were talking about community development and the potential of the industry for impact, and really where we thought the industry was lacking and could get better. And I think over time, our roles and our careers evolved, and we were both pursuing, looking for an anchor or an organization where we could actually take our ideas and bring them to life. And I think towards the end of 2017, when we were both transitioning from the roles we previously played in the sector, we met, spoke about what our vision for, at that time, maybe centrally renewable energy, but also interrelated sectors was. And that was actually the birth of Forethought Africa. In fact, the name in full is Forethought Africa Meaningful Development. Because I think at our crux, it was around this idea around how does infrastructure investment, how does investment in broadly catalyze meaningful development for what you'd call previously excluded communities, but also just Black people and Africans in general. And that's how Forethought Africa came to be. Our vision is really how do we play a role and how do we actively participate in infrastructure investments, in resource-intensive sector, in technology-driven solutions, in ways that are able to catalyze, social value creation, while contributing at the same time to the broader economic development imperatives of the country. And we want to do this through inclusive practices, or in inclusive ways in which we are actively participating and others are actively participating. I think our greatest accomplishment as the Forethought Group to date has been to build these 3 self-sustaining businesses from the ground up that exist. So part of Forethought Group includes these 3 entities, Forethought Africa, Forethought Capital, and Embedding Impact. At Forethought Africa, this was the first organization we actually started, providing consulting and advisory services to the renewable energy sector, but broadly in infrastructure investments and resource-intensive sectors and other related sectors. And really the crux of the work that we've been doing is around how to optimize value creation at the intersection of business and society within these investments and these businesses. And then when you move on to Forethought Capital, which really very well intersects with the work of Forethought Africa, is we're currently in the process of developing about 600 megawatts of utility scale renewable energy projects. We've got some green hydrogen project that's also in the pipeline, and broadly we're looking at investments in infrastructure, in technology solutions. All of these, again, really centering investments that catalyze development, but take into consideration what is our impact at this intersection of business, infrastructure, and resources, and society. And then the third subsidiary we have is Embedding Impact. Embedding Impact is an impact measurement and management advisory services company. We've been working on impact strategies, whether it's developing strategies, assessing the impact of strategies that have been developed, building the capacity of different organizations across different sectors in understanding how their business creates impact in society in different ways, and really implementing contextual best practice, global practice solutions, including SROI. And yeah, so those are the businesses that we've developed and have been growing and currently operating. How we've supported our current clients and partners is, I think we've been blessed, we've been lucky that the clients that we work with are generally the type of clients who share our vision. And so we don't have to convince them around the importance of value creation. We don't have to convince them around the importance of integrating sustainable practices into how you do business. We don't have to convince them around various imperatives of working in a South African context and taking into consideration the context of the economy we operate in, and what needs to change in how business conducts itself. And so that's been a key plus. And I think additionally to that, we've always taken the approach to, we partner with our clients, we walk a journey with them, so that it enables us to provide them with future forward but contextual solutions that speak directly to the type of value that they want to create and how they want to create it. And I think in doing that, we've been able to leverage various relationships we have across the different sectors that we have. So whether it's with different partners, different associates that we've worked with, but just bringing in all the resources that we have in order to develop these innovative solutions for those we work with. My vision for the Forethought Group is just intrinsically linked to my own personal experience of business and this perspective that business will intrinsically deliver on the economic development imperatives, when in reality, that doesn't happen without intentionality. So I grew up in a mining sector, or in an area that is driven really by the mining sector. And we saw over 50 years of mining development in our community, not necessarily resulting or translating into just broad economic changes within the context and the environment in which we lived. So yes, people were working in some, entry-level jobs within the mining sector. We were seeing this movement of trucks on our N14 driving up and down. But there wasn't sufficient circulation of money within our own economy, and we weren't seeing that these big development changes that large infrastructure and large resource-intensive sectors are intended to bring for those communities. And that didn't happen until legislation and regulation actually required companies to be intentional around making those changes happen. And so I believe that with the Forethought Group, we've got an opportunity to actually build those practices of being intentional around social value creation in how we do investments, in how we do business in the sectors that we're going to be investing in. So our primary interest is in infrastructure broadly, but also in renewable energy and other innovative technology sectors and solutions. And really what we're centering our business model on and our values in is how we're going to be intentional about ensuring that how we do investment, how we run our businesses, and how those infrastructure or the sectors that we're invested in intentionally create value for society in how the business operates. And I think that's the true north of our business.